And don't you fucking dare tell me to learn history! I know 3 libertarians in real life, and it's no coincidence that all 3 of them are history majors. Captain Awesome is a radical libertarian, partially because of the history he knows. Did you know that the income tax was introduced after World War I in America to pay for war damages? Did you know what the headlines were in those days of this income tax? There were headlines of public outrage over this income tax of let me repeat myself, 1% of the people's wages. They were...
What a stunning surprise. People complaining about taxes. People complain about every tax. And look, there was special taxes imposed to pay for the War of 1812 and the Mexican-American War. You know, yeah, that's what happens when you have to pay for stuff, you know, and so the government taxes or creates a tax to pay for it. So let's not forget, though, that there was a certain president, his name was Roosevelt, and he's elected numerous times, and he increased the income tax quite a bit, and he kept getting reelected, and you know, by wide majorities. So let's not pretend that people can't understand the concept, and they can't accept the concept, even though no one likes it. Who likes to get taxed? And so I'll add a little bit to this segment. This is a dollar bill, and this dollar bill represents something. It's made of something. It has meaning and substance. And you think it's something you can own. You think you can possess it, every inch of it, every bit of it. And there's a lot of you libertarians that complain, especially when I talk about inheritance and the rest of it. You say, well, where's my right to seize any portion of this, to claim any right to control any part of it? And I'll explain the right. The right's based on the fact that what's gone into this. This is made out of death. It's made out of hardship. It's made out of blood, sweat, and work, sacrifice. It's tremendous sacrifice. That's what makes this dollar worth something. All right, people die in coal mines. Do we ever pay them for their life? Do they ever get a fair price? People, my father, for example, worked in a chemical plant, spent 2 years in the hospital because of a chemical accident. Did anybody pay him for those 2 years? He didn't get paid for those 2 years. What's 2 years in the hospital worth? You're such arrogant fucks. You talk about money like it is yours, like you own something. But understand what you fucking own, all right? When you control one of these, this piece of green, you're controlling something that is made of something. It is made of immigrant labor being exploited. It's made of child labor. It's made of all kinds of fucking things. And the price of civilization. And yes, I say we the people have a right to control this. To say who gets to control how much of it. And we can put limits on it. And we can tell people, no, you're not going to squander it. You're not going to blow your nose with it. You're not going to do a lot of things. We can make some fucking goddamn rules. Because we really aren't paying the full price for it. Like I said, how many World War II soldiers died for this? Died for what this represents, for the country this represents, the country that made this mean something. How many? And how much did you fucking bitch, how much did you pay them for their sacrifice? How much did it cost you? How much? A penny? A nickel? Anything at all? Fuck you. Fuck you.
All the libertarians I know some economics and agree that the government needs to be severely reduced. The massiveness of the government is ridiculous. Now, the last time I read the newspaper, I heard my local NDP party voted to have their own wages raised. What the fuck is that? They voted on their own wage raise? That's our fucking money. We should decide if they ought to get a raise or not.
Why don't you spell out your reductions in government? Spell out what health care you wouldn't subsidize? What the Social Security, right? Get rid of that. So spell it all out and explain exactly how you're going to deal with the problems that are going to be created because of it. And let's say even welfare, a subject no one really likes. I mean, no one likes subsidizing assholes to have children they shouldn't be having. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do with these fucking babies? What are you going to do with these little kids? You want them like in Mexico where they're fucking feeding off of garbage dumps? Fuck that. Okay? Civilization won't tolerate that. Civilization. That's what we're really talking about here. Civilization versus bullshit. And then look at your fucking example. The fact that some politicians would raise their own salary. Yeah, is it really significant, a huge amount of money they're stealing? Really? Is it? And don't you have the power to elect them? So don't you have the same power to say no the next time you go to the ballot because you voted for your own salary increase? Of course you do. But you're going to ignore the fact that you do have a democracy and you do have a say, and you basically did vote for that salary increase when you voted for the man you put into office. So quit this fucking baby griping about nothing. You know, insignificant, immaterial concept. I mean, you know, it's just silly. It is silly to use the fact that they vote on their salary as an example of anything, because it is fucking meaningless.
You honestly think the government is looking out for our interests? Don't make me laugh.
Of course it's not our interest, because there is no our. We are an incredibly diverse people. Obviously, the government is influenced by all of that diversity. I think it should be more influenced by more diversity, because there are certain elements of the population that are excluded from representation. But regardless of that fact, the simple truth is there are competing interests, and no one is going to be satisfied. No one is going to get what they fucking want. They're going to get a half a cake, a half a pie, a half of whatever you want to call it, but it's only going to be that fucking half. Because there's another half that's going to keep fucking everything up. Like you.
The last time I read a newspaper, the Conservative Party of Canada was trying to pull normal light bulbs off the market and replace them with fluorescent light bulbs. What the fuck is the Conservative Party of Canada messing with the market for? They say the open disposal place is for us to dispose of our new fluorescent light bulbs once they burn out. But do you honestly believe that people will drive to this place to dispose of their light bulbs? People will throw their fucking fluorescent light bulbs in the garbage and will have mercury in our room.
Another great example of absolute bullshit mush. I mean, this is your problem with government, because somebody comes to them with a rational proposal that actually points out that, well, fluorescent light bulbs, if people use them, will save $10 billion in 5 years. And, you know, but that doesn't mean anything to you. And then, you know, the whole talk about mercury. Look, regular light bulbs have, you know, phosphorus in them, some other shit. If you're going through 10 to 1, you know, you probably might end up even with less toxic trash. And here you even point out yourself that people are assholes, that they can't comply with the simplest requirements. And then you're expecting in your market economy that these same consumers who can't even function to put light bulbs in a different disposal can or do whatever they have to do to take care of that problem, which really isn't a problem when you think that industry has been using fucking fluorescent light bulbs for goddamn 50 years. But anyway, let's not even go there. You know, I have about 50 of the fluorescent bulbs because I got them when they were on sale, and they've saved me a fortune. I replace the bulbs once every 3 fucking years. It's brilliant. But anyway, yeah, this is just stupid. So you're defeating your own fucking argument, because the fucking consumers who can't even dispose of their fucking fluorescent bulbs properly are the same consumers who are supposed to keep business in check and to make business be responsible and not be seduced by, well, it's $5 cheaper if I buy the stuff made by the little, you know, 5-year-old Chinese kids. I mean, come get real. You've just demonstrated the fact that this fucking market economy isn't going to be the most efficient. It isn't going to be the most productive. It's going to be the most exploitive.